Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here at the Raptors side, just reacting to the Toronto Raptors 125-116 victory over the New York Knicks. And the Toronto Raptors were on a little bit of a losing skid there. A lot of people were calling for the kazoos, they were calling for the tanks, and the Raptors, they said they're not done yet. They're not rolling in it over and dying, as we enter closer to this trade deadline, as they come out and they really handle the New York Knicks in this game from start to finish. The Toronto Raptors, while the Knicks did go on their runs, while there were moments where it looked like the Toronto Raptors might be having another ethical tank, a hard-working, hard-effort tanking performance, right? The Raptors, they end up having their counter punches, and while Nurse threw out some lineups, with the cruise missile, right? Maybe we should get a tank out there. The cruise missile being fired from the tank. We threw out some things. We threw out some, lineups that we thought wouldn't be effective, but the performance of Scottie Barnes galvanizing those troops, especially in the fourth, when the Knicks looked like they might have been going on a run, when the Knicks looked like they really could have taken over this game, as we've seen as of late, right? The Raptors, they're struggling to start off. They're not really doing their thing, and then they're playing well. They're the other team's struggling and stuff, and then we end up collapsing in the fourth. That lineup with Scottie Barnes sort of running the helm was really effective tonight. And if you look at the stats in this game, Scottie Barnes was really strong. Really, really strong. I mean, 19 points, 7 rebounds. What was that? 6 assists in this one. 1 steal, a couple blocks, a couple really nice blocks in this game, finishing in the lane. But again, the box score doesn't even just show it. Like Brandon Toll saying Magic Barnes out there in the chat. Country Kong is saying that Scottie Barnes led units will play harder, right? And there's just a certain flow. There's a certain rhythm to how the team looks with the ball in his hands, right? Whether he's posting up and he's throwing those cross-court passes, whether he gets an outlet and he's not slowing down the game. This was something I discussed earlier in the season with how fast, how energetic the team looks with Scottie Barnes sort of out there on the court. Yes, sometimes in the half court, it's not as effective as a Pascal Siakam isolation or a Fred VanVleet, directing people, commanding the offense. I don't think Fred VanVleet is necessarily, he's dialed back the ISO ball a little bit from times we've seen it this season, but he still is sort of commanding the offense. But when Scottie Barnes does it, it's a lot of movement. It's a lot of him yelling at people to, move around the court, to cut, to facilitate. And, those are things we really see when the offense is being run through Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam. And as people say, right, winning solves everything. And when we're winning and that offense is working with Pascal and Fred VanVleet running the show and stuff. And Pascal and Fred had really solid games in this one tonight. This is not to take away from those guys, but when you're in a little bit of a losing stretch, when the vibes are just off, you need to play with sort of that high octane, that free-flowing sort of offensive style to just get everyone back in their rhythm. Make sure everyone's not standing around and saying, oh, I don't touch the basketball. And then, you're kind of getting cooled off. You haven't really had an opportunity to create or something there for a couple minutes, and then you're hoisting up a tough shot after not shooting or touching the ball for a while. It's just messy offense, messy basketball, whether you're in the NBA or whether you're in junior high basketball. It's basic principles there. And if you want to, get people going, get people sort of rolling, right? Scottie Barnes is out here rocking. So I just heard Scottie Barnes is third in points in the fourth quarter in the whole NBA. That is wild. And yeah, Scottie Barnes he's electric, man. When he's locked in, when he's doing his thing. And that's the thing with Scottie Barnes, right? That's where people say that superstar potential is there, because there's moments, there's flashes. When he's locked in, he can put on performances like this. Performances deserving of a Scottie Barnes award. But sometimes, it kind of gets outside the flow of the offense and all that sort of stuff. But, no complaints here from Scottie in that lineup tonight. And I want to get some propaganda rolling too early in this one, because you look at the box score, Fred, Gary, Pascal, they might take the headlines, but I thought Precious Achiuwa, his value, what he's bringing to the team, it was sorely missed while the Toronto Raptors were, he was out with injury and the Toronto Raptors season really fell apart. Yes, we've been losing some games even with him out of the lineup. But the team's defense especially just looks a heck of a lot better with him in that out there on the court, right? He's fast, he's energetic. Obviously, he's a young big man. He's going to make some mistakes. He's going to sell some finishes and all that sort of stuff. But the way he was attacking the rim tonight against the New York Knicks was really useful for this Toronto Raptors team. And he just brings a different dimension that a guy like Koloko, a guy like Thaddeus Young, even a guy like Chris Boucher just can't really provide night in, night out. So, Precious Achiuwa is killing it, and Brandon Toll saying, Precious, a center hitting step back threes is precious to watch, and that's 100%. That is 100%, right? Like, him knocking down threes. How many did he even hit a three tonight? He's hitting shots, though. He's out here hitting shots. He didn't end up having a three-point shot in this one, but I know the shots you're talking about, Brandon Toll. Right, he's ready to let him fly. He's ready to sort of get his game rolling, do his thing. But, just love what I saw. Love what I saw out there from Precious Achiuwa in this game. But we do have to talk about. We do need to give some positive, shine some light on Fred VanVleet, who I saw someone earlier say Fred VanVleet's up in that trade value. And he's looking like the Fred VanVleet of more, with the exception of defense, still getting blown by occasionally. Jalen Brunson did eat his lunch on a couple of possessions and stuff. But Fred VanVleet, I thought, really had a strong performance in this one, right? Like, yes, the Raptors went on their runs with him out of the lineup, but I don't think, the runs the Knicks went on were because of Fred. He had 28 points in this one, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 8 of 19 shooting, and 4 of 8 from behind the three-point line. And the thing about Fred in this game, the ball really wasn't, like, yes, the ball's in his hands a good amount, right? Like, he's carrying it up on half the possessions on, however many possessions it is. But when Scottie Barnes is sort of more the guy facilitating, taking control of the offense, being not the Fred VanVleet's the locker room leader of this team, but Scottie Barnes' imprint is sort of more so Stitch on top of the game. Fred VanVleet can sort of do things like this, knock down some spot up threes, right? Be more of a shot creator, doing his stuff. So, that's I thought Fred VanVleet had a solid game. And speaking of another point guard, Gadgets is saying your boy Doughton got some playing time. I'm not Wieskamp and Doughton. I've been calling for them to get minutes, but I've been saying it from the jump. Whether it's Doughton, whether it's Malachi Flynn, whether it's Delano Banton, whoever you're going to throw in there, I guess Wieskamp now at this point as well. Whoever you're going to throw in there at the backup guard slot, don't give him just 6 minutes. I mean, Doughton's, Wieskamp, the last game he played in, it looked like he was doing cardio out there for the first 4 or 5 minutes he was actually out there on the court. Then he ended up knocking down 3 threes in his first game. And tonight, both Doughton and Wieskamp didn't really get their opportunities to have that significant impact, right? Like, you look at their performance in 6 minutes, they both had a couple of shots, but, only 6 minutes of action each. I wouldn't mind a bit more run. Sure, the Knicks did go on a little run when they got their opportunities and all that, but like I want to see more. Like, give at least one of them like 10 to 15 minutes, right? Give them that for 3 games so they know the confidence is there. They don't have to force anything, right? They can do their thing out there. So I'm not gonna criticize on that, but trade Pascal and Fred, says Joe Bellicano. I don't know. I get the haul. It's all about the returns, guys. And Fred VanVleet, 2 weeks ago, I thought wouldn't even be able to net us back anything, right? Anything at all. Well, just in terms of value on the open market, being a free agent, all that sort of stuff. But his recent performances show he's still an extremely valuable player, especially on the offensive end. So some teams might be interested in him. I've made the predictions that I don't think Fred VanVleet or Pascal Siakam will be traded. I just don't think it's going to go down. But if he's playing like this, if he's Fred VanVleet drive the wrong way, tank, right? If they're playing like this, they might be able to get some value. And Vegas has some odds in terms of where Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, these guys, will end up. I mean, you can see it over on the CoolBet app, right? Where Trent, OG, those are the 2 guys I think are more likely to be dealt. But Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, they're minus 370 in terms of Fred VanVleet staying on that roster. You can get some good odds if you can predict where Fred VanVleet or Pascal Siakam will get moved, if you believe that they will get traded. So, if you're interested in betting on that, definitely check out the CoolBet app using the link down below. They're a sportsbook regulated in Ontario. They're available all across Canada, and bet on every single Toronto Raptors game, NBA game, or any sport really in general. And the Raptors, unpredictable now at this point, to say the least. But that makes those lines, bigger payouts if you can hit it right. So definitely check out the Coolbet app. You can also bet on like in-game plays, Pascal rebounds, or anything like that using the app. So appreciate Coolbet supporting the podcast. Definitely, if you are interested in sports betting, sign up with an account for them. It helps us out big time. But those aren't the only guys that had strong performances in this one, and I'm surprised I left it this long in the video, but the star boy Gary Trent Jr. was very, very solid for the Toronto Raptors in this game here tonight, because, this was an outing where Gary felt like he just looked really comfortable out there on the court. There wasn't a moment where any shot he put up looked like it was gonna miss, right? And after missing the layup in last night's outing, it's nice to see where Gary Trent Jr. performed in this one. But 9 for 17 from the field, 6 of 10 from the 3-point line, which is amazing. Got a couple steals, 24 points, ended up fouling out of the game, but again, playing aggressive defense, doing his thing out there. So it's you love to see it. You love to see it there from Gary. Pascal, 24, 7, 6. It's mundane now talking about Pascal Siakam's performances because he's amazing every single night. Sure, the offense might slow down at times, but Pascal Siakam has the focal point of the defense, and he continues to be putting up 25 plus and a bunch of rebounds and a bunch of assists. So shout out to Pascal Siakam, shout out to Gary Trent Jr. All these guys were great, and we did get a little performance there off the bench in this one tonight, because Chris Boucher, 14 points, 7 rebounds. He was put into the doghouse for a couple games last week, not getting any single run, but off the bench tonight really had a strong performance. And I thought that also gave us some good run, in his 15 minutes of action. This is what I'm saying, right? 15 minutes should be like the minimum you're giving guys, unless it's like spot minutes. But if you really want to give them an opportunity to play, give them an opportunity to get a sweat going, 10 to 15 minutes, no matter how they're playing, you just, unless they're egregiously bad, right? That's what you want to see. That's what we want to see. So, that's solid performances all around. The cruise missile was out there playing well. So, shout out the Toronto Raptors, having some good moments in this. But let's swing into the segments. So tonight, the spicy Pele of the day. There's a lot of moments this could go to, but Scottie Barnes had a couple of just amazing passes, energetic moments at the end of this one. But, Gary Trent Jr. kind of dropped a dunk on a little poster early in this game, which we rarely see from the starboy Gary Trent Jr. But getting up, channeling his inner DeMar DeRozan, Vince Carter, Norman Powell, long list of great dunking shooting guards for the Toronto Raptors, and he channeled that for the Raptors. So that was a great play. There's a lot of moments in this one which were exciting, but the chat's going wild. Jimmy J, you're a Celtics fan. Get out of here. Trade everyone but Barnes and OG. Rebuild correctly. Are you a Celtics fan? You're roasting us in the Celtics game, but trade Barnes and everyone. Maybe, I don't know. Precious, I definitely want to keep. AMJ is saying, big fan from Ireland. Hey, bless up, sir. Newfoundland's pretty Irish, kind of close, crossing the oceans. So I love that. Top Dog, where you at? Where's the link? What was Brandon Toll saying? Top Dog was spamming the whole live, saying Gary came out and said he wants a max. I couldn't find this video, but Gary doesn't deserve max money. Where is this, folks? Did Gary Trent Jr. say he wants a max contract? That's wild. But Monroe Josh is saying Boucher, the only bright spot. Well, it's bad when he's the only contributor. I thought Thad was okay, but again, we definitely need more production off the bench if we want to compete. And Monroe had a good comment earlier that I didn't touch on while we were going, but the big test, right? The big thing that really will decide. Obviously, the front office probably has a good idea of what they're going to do heading into this year's trade deadline, but barring a remarkable turnaround, barring a great change in like a 7-game win streak on this road trip, I'd imagine the Toronto Raptors are going a younger direction. We have some news to cover in tomorrow's video about that. So, I think the Raptors, if they don't do anything crazy, things are going to be bad in terms of players. I think moves will be made. I think we're going in that direction. That's what all the news indicates. That's what, why all these trade rumors have been coming out. It feels like every second day I'm making a video on a new update, a new report coming out surrounding this Raptors team. So we'll see what ends up happening on that front. But where you at, Top Dog? He spammed it the whole live stream. Was it yesterday's live stream or today's? Let me know, Brandon Tull. But if we lost to the Knicks, I would have been devastated. Aiden, that's fair. right? And it is what it is, right? Like, you gotta get a few wins. I know people are looking for the tank. People are hoping for another Raptors therapy session where I yell at people and get things going. But, we gotta get some wins, especially against a division rival. The Knicks were out here saying that Quentin Grimes was better than Scottie the last time we played against him. So, we needed a W. I had a little TikTok go a little crazy for that. But not Donald Fake saying fake Jake. What's happening? But Ben, don't bring up the fake run man. Who's the fake run man? Country Kong out here spewing his nonsense again. Scottie can play even with our worst players. I think everyone needs taco beef cheese taquitos. Agreed. Adventures with Smiles. Taquitos are great. But bro, we can't pay Gary, Fred, and Pascal. Rental saying tonight. Man. That's wild. That's wild. But I'm back. No one wants Raptors therapy. Scooby-Doo. So definitely people are enjoying my rants on the live streams. I can't go too crazy after I can go crazy after losses, but when we're in the full swing of things, right now the Raptors, every win brings us back to mediocrity. I'm happy we win. I'm still rooting for the Raptors ahead of the trade deadline every single game, but the tanks are always a bit of fun. But life is better with a banana chocolate chip muffin in your hand. That's true. But our scouts are different. Imagine what we could do if we clear a cap sheet with multiple lottery picks in Masai's hands. That's true. Like, I'm definitely not opposed to retooling as long as we don't get rid of Scottie, Precious. Like to keep OG as well. And Pat. I don't know. Then we're not even tanking. I don't even know what to do. Don't ask me, folks. I'm just out here going crazy. But there's no need to win this game back closer to the play and play in for what? Kind of thought we're still early in the season, so it's all good. But Trey Pascal and VanVleet go young. If we get some value back, then fair enough. But Raptors fans always say we got 5 guys who can drop 20. Now you're going to have to pay them. That's definitely fair, Jimmy J. Or we trade them and then hope for Victor Wembanyama. But which part is nonsense? People are roasting. If I saw Fred VanVleet and a bucket of chicken, I'm going for the bucket. Lord 2 Senpai, you wildin'. But Top Dog hiding in the shadows. But Race Mode Daily saying, why are people so concerned about cap space? It's not coming out of your pocket. Exactly. Like, our cell phone bills are wild up here in Canada. So Bell and Rogers better be using that money to pay Gary Trent Jr. That's my take. But your entire take on Pascal is insane. Who's Pascal? Oh, they're talking. Country Kong and Carl are having a conversation. But not who's Pascal. I'm losing my brain out here. But what's some realistic trades that might happen ahead of the trade deadline? And honestly, at this point, I think anything's realistic. Like, in terms of players that could potentially be moved, there's so many rumors going around. There's so many potential guys that could be coming back to the Toronto Raptors. There's so many guys that could, so many teams that could be trade partners with the squad. So it's going to be tough to see what's really going to happen on that front. But my hair is wilding out here. But what's a good PG would be nice to have. Backup or starter trade in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, if we're trying to win now, then that's what's happening. But I see we have a Spicy P stand in the house. Do love me some Spicy P. Even though I think that's you're going at Carl out there in the chat. But lottery picks worth way more to us than any other team because Masai can build a dynasty. It's a very good point there, Raps VE. If we can retool with a bunch of draft picks but not give up a bunch of players, that would be just great. That would be very, very great. Not to hope I like Spike for Jenny Driscoll. Sin. Tell's got me living in poverty, says Brandon Tull. Like us all, man. Like us all. I got a social media fund. Work pays for some of them. But, God, everything out here. But the plans have no forgiveness for the university students. Yeah, they don't like us. They don't like us. Bell and Rogers. So spend the money, folks. Get into that luxury tax. What is it? Edward Rogers. No relation to Ben Rogers. Well, listen, man. I think Pascal. I like this Pascal as much as the next guy, but he's not a number 1 option. He's playing really well, though. He's playing really well. And he might not get a Supermax. I don't know if he's going to be All-NBA with how bad the Raptors have been. Key Entity Domino saying trade Otto and cash considerations for Riker. Hey, Riker be putting up more points than Otto this season. I mean, maybe not, but he'd be playing more games at least if he was asked. All I know is we shall find out what direction this team is heading after the deadline. That's true. That's why I'm not worried about wins. That's why I'm not worried about losses, right? Like if we we're overtly tanking and we win this game against the Knicks, then would be sad on this podcast. But yeah, I'm happy with the Raptors sort of doing their things, doing their squad and all that. But Rikers Penn's internet provider, that's tough. But Raptors finished 52-30. Let's go. Hey, 3 more losses for the season. Let's do it. But someone better than Gary Trent Jr. in shooting guard, a guy who can drop 40. Hey, Gary's dropped 40 before, I believe. I believe so. Scooby-Doo is not for the tank. Not for that stuff happening. Rikers Josh's basement. Josh has to sign off on that. True. If we can lose and get the number 1 pick, just imagine the lineup of Wembanyama, Pascal, Precious, OG, and Scottie. Defensive juggernaut, or lineup with Wembanyama, Koloko, Pascal, OG, and Scottie. Sean, those would be absolutely insane lineups for the squad. Kevin Thompson is saying Levine for Pascal. I'm passing on that one. I like Pascal more than Zach LaVine. Defense, especially on both sides of the court. But no worries about missing the stream yesterday, Gurman. But came back. Josh, sorry, didn't get the stats. Asked 7 points, 18 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, a block. You're putting up some big stats though, even in a loss though, Gurman. Good stuff there. You know, hit a 3, hit an extra 3, get us that triple double though. But there are 30 teams in the NBA in this league. Pascal's easy top 15 players in the league. He deserves a max. Besides, who are you going to pay the max? No free agents come here. Yeah, I'm big on keeping Pascal Siakam. But that lineup will be sick. Aiden for real. Zach averages 27. Yeah, Pascal's just does a lot more out there on the court. Especially as facilitating this season, it has been dumb good. But Scottie over Josh Allen. Yeah. We need Victor Wembanyama. People want it. But Wembanyama already has a huge target on his back after playing before even playing in a single NBA game. He better get ready to bulk up. Not sure if I buy the hype right now, says Donald Fagan. Yeah, but it's all about, if you're tanking, it's not just Victor Wembanyama, right? We had the fade for Cade during that tanking year, and we end up getting Scottie Barnes, right? It's about putting Masai Ujiri in a great position to get an amazing player. But missed a triple-double in 2 straight games. Yeah, that's how it goes. But Gary Trent Jr. is an all-star level talent. Well, hey, Riker was out here on the pods last season saying that the star boy... My goodness, why can't I find it? There we go. The star boy Gary Trent Jr. is going to be the Raptors' GROAT. Channel members, if any of you guys are watching, definitely throw in the GROAT Gary Trent Jr. emojis out there in the chat. But Pascal Fred to the Pelicans for Ingram, Murphy 3, or Murphy the 3rd, Jones, Daniels, and picks. That would be a wild return for those guys. My goodness, I'm pressing the wrong buttons out here. Don't even know what I'm doing. But Pascal needs a number 1 option. That's fair. He's like a 1B on a championship squad. He was a number 2 option when we had Kawhi, but I think he'd be like a 1B guy. Imagine Victor puts on Giannis muscle. Yeah, that guy is the GOAT if he puts on Giannis muscle. I think Gary's gonna break out once he finds a coach that's gonna let him be what tomorrow was to Casey. That's an interesting assessment, still a real one. I think Gary is very good. He's still super young as well, so he just turned 24, so definitely lots of room to grow for Gary Trent Jr., right? Playing like his life depended on it. He on a mission. It's true. He had a pretty solid one. But, Gurman's throwing football stats out there. Tatum, KD, Embiid. Those are number 1s. Hey, Pascal greater than Embiid. And Tatum, has he won a championship? How many championships has Tatum won? I'm triggering Celtics fans out here. Tatum's just a glorified Evan Turner. Been on that wave. Glorified ET. But Pascal isn't. Let's see what people are saying. We have the tanks, but do we have the shells and the diesel? That's true. We gotta rock out. Do you think Scoot and Wemby would fit our system better? I'm gonna keep it real. Like, I don't watch a lot of not NBA basketball. By not a lot, I mean pretty well any, but a bit of highlights. So I'm just gonna rock out with Victor Wembanyama because in the highlights I've seen, he looks quick, he looks smooth, he has that long frame, right? So I'm gonna rock out with Wemby, assuming he can stay healthy. But Scoot, from the highlights I've seen as well, looks amazing. But realistic, where do you think Fred VanVleet will be traded? I think if he's traded, the Pelicans make sense. I think if he's traded, the Magic makes sense. The Suns potentially. But I think it's going to be a trade out of nowhere if one of our stars do get moved. But it's coming back. Fred is going to be traded. Where will he go? Yeah, I don't know. But Scoot would 1,000% fit the Raptors better. Scoot does seem like a very fun player. But for real, Tatum isn't even that good. Mid, if you ask me. Couldn't agree more, Aiden. Couldn't agree more. Just a mid guy. Probably come off the bench. He might help the bench for the Toronto Raptors. But I'd probably take a healthy Otto Porter Jr. over Tatum. One thing I've realized, like, there's always like 10% of people that just don't get it when I'm sarcastic on the lives, on the pods, and then people come at me like a year later saying, "You said Otto Porter Jr. is better than Jason Tatum," even though I stick by it. And Jaylen Brown is not better than any Raptor. No way, Jose. No way, Jose Calderon. Jaylen Brown is no Pascal. No irony. Jaylen Brown is not a better player than Pascal Siakam. That is not true. But Pascal is bored of the situation. He's definitely number one. True. Who is the one player you want to see in a Raptors uniform this deadline? Who excites you the most? Depends on what direction. Dougler, it depends on what direction we're going in. And Pascal has a shot for a chip. Zion and the Pelicans. True. But why are people watching 1B games? Where are people watching 1B games? I think you watch them on YouTube and stuff. But Pascal's way better than Brown. 100%. 100%. Kevin Thompson, Pascal for Mobley. Like, if we're going in a rebuilding direction, that's not a bad return for Pascal. But, you know, super chats go towards the Raptors cap space. Let's make them happen, folks. Let's fund the Toronto Raptors. The $1 billion Rogers and Bell Corporation. But I heard in the NBA app, they stream NBA games. Yeah, there's something like that on the go. But if the Raptors can trade for a big draft Scoot, they'd be turning point. 100%. 100%. But that was trippy. As soon as I tuned in, said my name. Saw you waiting. But Jalen Jason started in the All-Star game. That's great. But, you know, that's because you guys are the 1 seed. Pascal Siakam started on an NBA championship team. Crazy. He started in the All-Star game before as well. So, and he's 1,000 times better right now than when he was starting in the All-Star game. So he's not going to start, yeah. But pay Gary. Definitely, I'm in a boat of keeping Gary Trent Jr. around, but we do have to make some shakeups. So I don't know what's happening. But Carl, out of respect, I'll name championship players. Country Kong is there. Pascal can't hit a free throw. Yes, he can. But our half-court offense is awful with Fred VanVleet. Not always, but we definitely play faster with Scottie Barnes out there in the lineups. But Aiden's roasting. But I'm worried for Wembanyama. Someone like Embiid accidentally steps on him, though. You know, needs to bulk up quick. Yeah. You know, as much as I'm enjoying roasting the Celtics in this live stream, the Sixers are really the team that frustrate me the most because of how they did our team dirty in the playoffs with a bunch of injuries last year. But it is what it is. But folks, Toronto Raptors got a W. It's a fun game to watch the Toronto Raptors get a win. Scottie Barnes running the offense. You know, some hope, some promise looking from our players, but really, this road trip we have coming up is the true test for this team. So, tune in the Raptors side. Just will be covering everything out here on the Toronto Raptors. We're very, very close. Got 155 people out here in the chat. Sure, not everyone's subscribed. We're very close to 27,000 subscribers. So, definitely hit that sub button if you're enjoying all the content, you know, surrounding the Toronto Raptors. But, you know, check out the Coolbet app. Helps us out big time. But you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.